My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Well, hey folks, welcome back to another exciting episode. Today's special guest is zooming in all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. And Marianna Osipenko has a lot of experience in real estate investing and several things that are kind of her strong suit. Number one is not getting caught up in the negativity of negative situations and turning that around. Number two, she's a mom to 3 beautiful kids, and she's figuring out how to balance work and family life. And number three, she's learned the important lesson of creating a team and real estate as a team sport. So Marianna, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you so much. Very excited to be chatting with you today.
All right. Well, hey, first things first, what really piqued my curiosity when we were talking a little bit offline was your mental attitude when it comes to dealing with challenging situations that would throw a lot of other people off. You're able to kind of bounce back very quickly and keep on with things and keep things rolling. So maybe tell us a little bit about that. What's an example of you doing that with a deal? Where do you think that came from in your personal makeup?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So for me, my mantra is focus on what you can control. So it just comes down to no matter what happened in the past, it's in the past, right? That's done. We can't control it. So what do we do now? How do we fix it? And we all know, being a real estate investor, you deal with challenges day in and day out. There's a lot of no's that come along with real estate investing. You lose a lot of deals. Lenders don't want to do your deal. You're not able to get the rents as high as you want. You're not able to do the renovations at the budget you initially anticipated. There's a lot of curveballs and challenges. So I have just found that taking my energy and focusing it on things that I can't control does no good to anyone.
Yeah.
So I am very much like, I literally repeat this mantra to myself a lot. And I think now it's just ingrained in my head. So I won't say I've become immune to bad news, but it's part of investing. I mean, unfortunately, it's part of life, and it's most definitely part of being an active real estate investor. I do this full time every day. So there's a lot of challenges and obstacles.
What's an example? You were telling me a little bit about something that happened to you with a lender, 11th hour kind of screw up.
Yeah.
And how you handled that, and how other people are going, how come you're not super ticked off and just fuming about this? Tell us a little bit about that situation.
Yeah, so we just had a deal. It's a large, very heavy value add property, over 40 units. 75% of them are vacant.
Wow.
It's a heavy lift, needs a lot of work, has some damage at the property that we're obviously going to be addressing. But those are the types of deals we look for, because there's so much equity upside that we're going to get. We're getting it at a really good price. We have a pretty hefty renovation budget, but we know once we're done with that, the property is going to be worth close to twice what we have invested into it. So those are the types of deals we like. Those are the types of deals we search out. The challenge in this economy is lenders are tightening up. So when we initially got this deal under contract, we had a really tough time finding a lender that was going to commit to it, given the low current income and the amount of money we're going to have to invest and how long it would take us to get it to be stabilized.
Got it.
We found a lender. I'm not going to call out the lender right now. We found a lender. They committed to it. They knew the situation. We were very transparent from the beginning. We had to jump through hoops to get them to keep moving forward. They kept putting on additional requirements. We needed more liquidity. Now they need more inspections. Phase 1 inspection triggered an additional phase 2 environmental inspection. We kept getting delayed. We thought we were finally, like, the light was at the end of the tunnel. They told us they have to take it to their board for final approval. They took it to their board. And long story short, the amount of cash out of pocket we have to put into this deal to close it went from 200,000 to 800,000.
Oh my God.
Literally, the
Four
board
times.
was not happy with the deal. They wanted more of our skin in the game.
Yeah.
They got nervous about the numbers. They got nervous about where the current occupancy was, and they dropped the ball on us. They said, we'll still do the deal, but we
You
now
just
need
have to put up almost $1 million of your own cash.
like
Nice. So,
small
and
little things.
you've got the property under contract. You're just waiting
Yep.
for
And
final approval on the
we have
loan to
gotten
close on
multiple
the deal.
extensions. The seller was exceptionally understanding,
Yeah.
very nice guy, but we are now out of all of the contingencies. So we now have money that's gone hard in the deal. Like our
Yeah, you've had to
deposit,
get all those inspections. You've had to, do all that stuff.
we spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're at risk of losing the deal. We're at risk of losing all the money we have in it. So was I very upset? Absolutely. Was I angry? Was I really frustrated with this lender? Did I email their executive board and tell them what I thought? Yes, I did. But I don't want to spend too much of my time and energy doing that. It's not going to do anyone any good. They told us our decision's final.
So what did you do?
So at that point, my mind goes to focus on what you can control, right? Mm-hmm. We have this deal. We're in jeopardy of losing it. We have money in the deal already. So I start reaching out to everyone I know, every other lender, every private equity group. I talk to some other multifamily friends that buy heavy value add properties, got recommendations from them. I literally, between my partner and I, we probably spent 30 hours on the phone over the next 2 days, talking to everyone we know, talking to every lender, every person that could potentially help. So again, were we really upset? Yes. Did we feel like it was like a bait and switch with this initial lender? Yes. It was really frustrating, but being angry and frustrated did us no good.
So what was the outcome?
So we actually this is still in the works, but in process, but we do have a lender that's ready to do the deal. So we have one lender ready to do the deal. Their rate is a little bit higher than we want to pay. So we also have 2 additional lenders that have promised us a response within the next day or 2. So
and the other lender's not looking for 800 grand up front.
No. We went back. We said, this is the situation. We've already wasted so much time. Our seller is being incredibly nice, but we're honestly at his mercy now. He can walk away with our money and we don't have a leg to stand on at this point. So between my partner and I, we just focused on where do we go from here. We want this deal.
What can we control?
What can we control? How do we fix it? How do we resolve it? Like, being angry and upset does no one any good. I don't want to be wasting my energy on that.
No, and hats off to you and your partner for making that switch and switching things. Now, that brings up another idea, because we were talking a little bit offline that for quite a while in your professional and real estate investing career, you were kind of a lone wolf or a lone ranger. You did everything on your own. You just wanted to be completely independent. And then relatively recently, you discovered a different approach. Tell me a little bit about that, because it ties in nicely with that last story.
Yeah. So I spent 15 years appraising companies and selling companies. I worked for a larger company, but I was an independent consultant and I did all my own deals. So when I went into real estate investing, I was just used to being on my own. That was always the way I operated. And I did my own deals for a few years. I had a small portfolio in Western Massachusetts, got out of Massachusetts for various reasons, one of them being that we're very tenant friendly here and everything is also quite expensive here. So I got out of Massachusetts, started looking out of state, joined a lot of different multifamily groups, networking groups. I was in a few mentoring groups. So I really got out there and started building my network, connected with, and we chatted a few times. He mentioned that he was investing in Ohio. And I'd never really even considered Ohio. I was really targeting like Tennessee and the Carolinas. Those were my key markets that I wanted to get into. But he said, hey, well, if you get anything in Ohio, bring it to me and we'll partner. I didn't think twice about that statement because I'd never worked with anyone before. And then literally within maybe a few weeks, I get an email from a wholesaler I connected to who was big in Florida and the Carolinas, but accidentally somehow ended up with a deal in Ohio. And it was a 12 unit townhomes, um, older seller, doesn't have a lot of records, really like perfect
Yeah.
opportunity, right for value add. And I thought back to my conversation with my now partner, and I said, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I literally never looked in Ohio, and suddenly an Ohio deal lands in my lap. So I
Serendipity.
emailed him. It
Yeah.
was just, yeah, it was just one of those things. I emailed him. He said, yeah, this looks interesting. Let's look at it. We started working together. We got along really well. Like, somehow we just split up the
Clicked.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
We got along well. We had the same goals. We aligned on our values and what we're trying to accomplish. And it was so nice to have someone else that I could talk to, that I could bounce ideas off of, that was there like to pick up my call if I was struggling on something, like, hey, we need to check, did you check the new tax rate? Is a sale going to trigger a tax increase? Hey, did we look into this? Did we do that? And it just felt so nice to be able to do that, because this was right in the middle of COVID
Oh,
too.
wow. Yeah.
And there, I was just like, I mean, I have a family, which is amazing, but when I work, I'm in my office all day, every day, staring at my computer. So, it gets a little isolating.
Yeah.
So it was very nice to be able to have that person that's on my team, and we're working together and we align on so many ways. So we bought that property together. That property led to another property, and that kind of started snowballing. So now we're doing all of our multifamily deals together.
Very
And
nice.
it's just been like, I could not be happier about the momentum and how much more we're able to accomplish now that we're working together. I
And
mean,
I'm sure he feels the same way.
yes, yeah, he does. His great. We talk about it a lot. Like, it's just, there's so much more accountability, because if I wake up in the morning and and I'm doing something around the house and I don't feel like working, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna disappoint him. I told him I was gonna do this. I told him I was gonna email it. So just the
Yeah. You're
accountability
not
piece
just
right
answering to
there.
yourself, you're answering to a
Yeah,
partner.
I'm
Yeah.
answering to someone else. I don't want to disappoint him. Like, he's counting on me just like I'm counting on him. So we're working as a team, and we're able to just give each other so much more confidence and so much more energy by, like, bouncing ideas off of each other. And we feel so much more confident when we talk about something. Like, if I were looking like this deal that we had the challenge with on financing,
Yeah.
that probably would have been a lot more disappointing if I were doing it on my own. But the
Yeah.
fact that there were two of us, that we can divide and conquer. We
Hmm.
as soon as we realized the lender was dropping the ball, we got on a call, we brainstormed, what do we do next? Where do we go from here? You call this guy, I'm going to call that guy. I'm going to work on drafting an email with all of the documents we already have, so we can just send it off to anyone who's interested in potentially doing the deal. It literally, the momentum snowballs, and the amount of progress we've had in the few years that we've worked together is so far
How
superior to
many
any.
deals have you guys done since partnering up?
So we've done 3 deals.
Nice.
We have multiple deals in the pipeline.
Hmm.
And we are now getting more, now that the market's kind of shifted a little bit. When we first started working together, I think it was still very much a seller's market. And even though we made a lot of offers, we're very conservative in our underwriting. I have a finance degree and an MBA. He is also really smart. He's an engineer. He works
Oh,
in
yeah.
a, like,
You
so
analytical types,
yeah,
number
so
people
we're
got
very
it.
analytical. We're very we stress test all of our underwriting. We don't just do what a lot of people did 2 years ago when they said, "Oh, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to triple the rent
Yeah.
and I'm going to cut the expenses and I'm going to make all this money everywhere." No. We are like very methodical. We check everything over. So we were making offers and we were losing the deals. But
Mm.
now the tables are turning a little bit. There's so much more opportunity. I feel like sellers are finally coming around. They're getting a little bit more realistic. So we have a lot more traction and a lot more momentum. And we're now in a position where we're turning down sellers that are coming to us saying, hey, we know you bought this property across the street from me. I have, a 24 unit, or I have a 30 unit. Do you guys want to buy that? So we're now the ones that like can cherry
Going to be
pick
a
a
little
little
bit
bit
more on the
more.
picky side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you got great deal flow. Now it's time to kick up the the capital raising side of things, so you can take advantage of some of these properties. Now, you
Yeah.
talked a little bit about values, and I know from speaking to you that you know you're a you're a very, very happy mom. I believe you got 3 children, and being a good mom is very, very important for you. How do you balance that with the challenges and the time and the concentration that's required for doing what you're doing in multifamily investing?
It's hard. One of the benefits of multifamily is you don't have to be at the office from 8 to 5. So I try to schedule things around when I'm available. So when my kids are in school, and then a lot of times I'll get back on my computer when the kids are in bed. But one of the like one of my driving principles is I try to be in the moment no matter what I'm doing. So if I am working, I am focused on my job. My kids know mom works, mom loves what she does. Mom is trying to build us these generational wealth deals that we can take over when they're older
Which
or
is
when we're
amazing that
older.
they ever even understand that terminology.
They
But yeah, yeah.
do. I don't know if they're excited about it quite yet, but
Well, they don't understand what working for a living entails. So yeah,
yes,
they'll be
exactly.
excited later on. Yeah.
Right. So the only thing they've asked me is, "Oh, summer's going to be so fun. We're going to do all these things." And I said, "Guys, I don't get the summer off." They're like, "Why don't you get the summer off?" I'm like, "Well, that's not how adulting works. You don't just get the whole summer off." Um, but I am very much like I just focus on what I am doing. So there are days where I meet my kids off the bus and we decide to go get ice cream because it's a nice day out, which doesn't happen a ton in Boston.
Mm.
And I am there. I'm with my kids. I am focusing on my kids. We're
You're
talking
not
about
looking
their
at your
thing.
phone. You're not taking
I
calls. You're
try
not
not
answering
to. I
emails.
mean,
Yeah.
unless it's something pressing, but I really try to focus in on that moment and enjoying my kids. Same thing. If I'm in front of my computer, I try not to feel guilty that, oh, I should be downstairs helping with the homework or, playing with my kids, because I love the fact that my kids know that mom can have a job, she can balance it all, she can be passionate about work, and we still have clean laundry to wear. So I try to balance it all. Headphones are amazing. I take a lot of my calls that don't require me being on video. I will be folding laundry or
Okay.
cleaning off the counter. I try to multitask when I can. But
Women are a lot better
so
at that than guys. That's for sure.
oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is
yeah.
that is very much true.
Speaking from
Just
personal experience, I can't multitask for the life.
yes, I agree. I'm pretty amazing at multitasking. Most people, I could be having like a really important conversation and I recall a lot of the facts that are pertinent to the deal. And everyone thinks I'm in front of my computer and I'm literally in my laundry room
Oh
sorting
wow,
laundry. So
that is a great skill set. Marianna, time flies. So if people would like to find out more about you, what you're up to in the multifamily space, how you keep your attitude and your head on straight in the midst of all of the craziness of a real estate deal, what's the best way for them to find out about you, Marianna?
Facebook, probably I'm pretty active on Facebook and it's Marianna Osipenko, Osipenko. Would love to connect. I'm always happy to chat real estate. So
Fantastic.
reach
Well,
out.
thank you very much for sharing your insights on a multiple different levels, all about I really appreciate how you shared that whole focus on what you control thing. I have a challenge with that still, but that's a good example there. Also, yeah, you know what? Being the Lone Ranger, that's what I did back in the day. It is lonely
Mm,
out there just trying to do everything on your own. And then that whole work-life balance. My kids are grown and gone now, but I definitely tried to do the same thing that you're doing and be there for them in those important moments, have some flexibility with my work schedule, and tried my best to be focused on them when I was with them. So that's good advice
mhm.
as well. So Mariana, thanks
Awesome.
very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll talk to you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.